Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Auburn All the Time. I'm Rod Stevens and I got my main man here, Mr. Auburn football himself, my dude Bruce Howard, and man, just want to welcome everybody back. Another week down. We're going into week 7. Half of the season is over. Half of the regular season. Hopefully we'll get to the postseason. But
Right.
anyway, like to thank everybody for tuning in. Who's been tuning in the past, man. We are really appreciating y'all. Listen, continue to like, share, and follow us, man. Click the notification button so you'll know when we putting up new material. But with that being said, just going forward, I guess we'll start our recapping the Georgia game. We both had expectations a little bit better than what we seen. We both had Georgia winning, but not like that,
Right.
So I'll just kick it over to you, Bruce. I mean, what you want to talk about the defense first, or what?
Yeah, we can. This ain't gonna take long. It's pretty pretty short and sweet. I would say main thing, missed opportunities. For going back to the first drive of the game,
Mhm.
it was well scripted. They drove right down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Nix threw the ball in the end zone. Threw it basically still was a catchable ball, but he probably threw it over the wrong shoulder.
Mhm.
Threw it over the right hand shoulder, should have been the left hand shoulder. But anyway, just missed opportunities. The targeting call didn't help. Smoke Monday coming out, and just some. I would say I got more questions after this game on the defense than I do the offense. I want to know, like, where's Jalen Simpson at? We seen Nehemiah Pritchett the last 3 weeks getting beat on one-on-one coverage, so we got a lot of depth in the secondary. So I'm just trying to figure out what's the mentality for the rotations, and of course we're on defense. We're still shorthanded. No Papo, no TD Moultrie, and losing Smoke Monday in the first quarter of this game really hurt us. But I got more questions about the defense than I do the offense. I don't know about what you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying the same thing since week 3, basically. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. I mean,
Right.
even with the LSU game, and now that we see what LSU really is,
Right.
there's still a lot of questions. I agree with you. Man, we're just not getting the type of pass rush. I mean, we're getting guys beat over the top. It's just a lot of questions that we're halfway down.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I could see if it was if it's one thing or another. That's what I would rather have. But
Right.
you got them playing. I mean, it's like every other game. It's a good game, and then you don't even know what's to follow. So I mean, if it's going the way it's been going these past few weeks, I mean, hopefully the Arkansas game is due to be a good game. I mean, because it's just like they've been playing, every other week. But I'm like you, man. There's some players that are missing, but we got players that we're not seeing as well. You know what I'm saying? It's not due to injuries and stuff like that. So I got questions about the calling, and you know what I'm saying, and how we scheming up things. We really made Stetson Bennett look amazing, man. I mean,
Right.
that type of stuff like that. Those are big questions that I have when it comes down to a game like last Saturday against Georgia. Those are some big questions, man. I mean, we played well against the run, and don't get me wrong, man. The offense kept us out there too long. I mean, just it was too many blown opportunities. I'll get in the offense a little bit. It was just, I mean, too many drop passes. Balls that should have been caught. You knew what you was going into. You knew that balls had, and I'm not gonna blame everything on Bo Nix because he threw some passes that just absolutely should have been caught.
Right.
Even the interception that was unnecessary.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Those balls going through receivers' hands, those balls bouncing off their chest. I mean, it's stuff like that, man. The pure fundamentals. And you knew, like I said, going into the game that he was gonna have to get them the ball some way. So I mean, if Robinson has the height I mean, that pass he threw over the middle, I think it was like 3rd and 9 or something. And I mean, perfect pass. If you ask me, he should have caught that ball to keep the drive going. And maybe that would have been a turning point of the ball game. We just missed too many opportunities. I mean, even the pass, the second long drive that we had, and it was like 4th and 3 because we got a penalty on the field goal,
right?
And they decided to go for it. I feel like that ball should have been caught, but he was PI'd. I mean, they didn't give us that call, but still, man, you know, games like that, man, you got to come up with the 50-50 stuff, man. I mean, he put it there, but you know, it is what it is. Me personally, I want to talk about later on if we get into it. I want to talk about targeting just as a general, you know, thing, man, because I feel like targeting. I don't feel like players should get ejected. I'm not just talking about my team. I've seen some targeting calls this year, last year, and I've had questions, and that's been bugging me. I understand the 15-yard penalty or whatever penalty they assess for it, but the ejection, man, I can't agree with that. I feel like a lot of these targeting calls are, you know, the player doesn't have the intent to do it.
Right.
I feel like they should get a second chance, you know, and if you do it a second time, then yeah, you gone. But I mean, you got a chance to clean up your act, you know. But a lot of this stuff is not intentional, and the penalty is you know, I feel the penalty, you know, but just kicking these guys out, especially in a game like that, I mean, that means, you know, so I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to cry or whatever or get on my soapbox.
Yeah.
But even with the Penn State game, man, look how much that affected us, and then rolling over even into the Georgia State game, how much that affected us, that targeting call. And so, I mean, what do you think about targeting?
Man, I could talk for days about it. I mean, it's so inconsistent on how it's being called.
It is.
But I'll say this, not only that, the fact that refereeing in the SEC, that's who we mostly keep up with, is so inconsistent.
It is.
We got new crews. They're basically trying to get some new blood in there, new referees in there, and it's so inconsistent. So it cost us in the Penn State game. It caused when McClain went out on that same drive he went out on, the backup linebacker came in and they ran to that side of the formation, and of course it cost us, and I know it cost us in this game. But just overall refereeing is so inconsistent, and I think the reason why, which we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, there's no accountability. If these guys will get reprimanded on some of this stuff, that will clean up some, but we could talk about that for days.
That's true.
But it's no accountability. I mean, it's so inconsistent. And in the back of my mind, I'm sitting there as an Auburn fan. I'm like, man, Auburn, just like on the sideline on the pass interference call by McCreary. I mean, what is he supposed to do? And both guys are fighting, and it's no advantage either way. But they call it. It's like, I mean, to me, it's sort of like, as an Auburn fan, you sitting there, they're protecting these teams.
Exactly.
You know, it's not necessarily. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but it feels that way. Just like on that play, that's not even realistic to even call that.
Yeah, because the guy, I mean, it looked like he was twice his size. First of all, I mean, you talking about a 6'6" receiver. And I mean, the dude looked like he was leaps and bounds over him. But I mean, what else could you do?
And I say that just to say this: these are SEC officials, and we had SEC officials at Penn State. And you know, our guy on the 4th down and goal play, our guy got hit in the end zone, and they didn't call it. So, but then on the sideline, we had them backed up. They threw one 30 yards on the sideline down the field to get out get out of being backed up. They called it.
Yeah.
So it's just so inconsistent. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's either here or there. Yeah. So,
and we like you said, man, we're not gonna harp on the officiating. I mean, because
I just pray it gets better. I mean, more consistent, more consistent anyway.
And that's my thing. I mean, because if you're gonna call it both ways. And I mean, just you know, and some of y'all may know, I help coach my son's Pee Wee team, and we lost a tough one a couple of weeks ago. But there was a horse collar call on us at the beginning of the game, And one of the referees told me that, just because he tugged the back of his shirt, he didn't even pull him down.
Right.
He said they're gonna call it anyway because they're trying to get them to, not do that. Well, our player was taken to the ground by a horse collar, and there was no laundry on the field. And I went on the field and I asked the guys. I said, hey, I don't care, if y'all didn't call it on us, you know what I'm saying, I would have been fine, of course, but if y'all call it on us, call it on them too. Just call the game consistently and call it fairly, and they couldn't tell me they didn't see it because 3 of them were standing over there. But anyway, like I said, that's not here there.
It's just not Auburn too. I mean, I don't care. It was Target didn't call in the Alabama-Texas game. That cost Alabama too.
First play, basically. I mean, first quarter.
So it ain't just us. It's universal. It's across the board.
Right.
So, and it's even, well, I don't say it's worse, but at least in the NFL, I think it's a little more just basically focusing on because they review everything in the NFL. So maybe the college need to imply some of them rules. But moving right along, you know what we got coming up this week?
Yeah.
It's good old Arkansas. Good old Arkansas. A much improved Arkansas team. That now that Gus is no longer with Auburn, this is not our Super Bowl every year, or his Super Bowl every year. So he was always prepared for them. But when I say this is a game, I look at the point spread, which, like I said, we don't gamble. 3.5, 4 points in favor of Arkansas. You get 3-4 points just for playing at home. Yeah. So basically, that tells me it's pretty much a pick 'em. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's fair. I would say from top to bottom, though, if you look at both rosters, I would say Auburn has more talent than Arkansas. But I tell you what, the number one thing not number one, but 2 things I'm concerned about. I actually feel like Arkansas has, when it comes to the coordinators, I think Arkansas has better coordinators than us at this point, especially on defense with Barry Odom. Mm-hmm. I mean, but that's just, that's what we're dealing with until. I've lost some faith in Mason. I really can't fault Bobo because as far as our offense goes, because he's put us in position to make the plays, and that's all you're required to do. Yeah. So, but I don't know how much. I don't know how much of Arkansas you've actually watched this year, but they're a running team. They got 3 running backs. Mm-hmm. And their quarterback is 6'5", 245, KJ Jefferson. Yeah. He's good. He's not the most consistent passer, so. If you look at the quarterback comparison, him and Bo Nix, both they're about the same to me. Both of them. Nix is not the power runner he is, but he's probably more elusive. He can make some plays with his legs. Right. But Auburn, you look at the 4 running backs they use, and you look at what Auburn's using. There are 3 running backs. I would say Auburn's got the advantage at tailback. But if you're talking about, I really see this as pretty much an even game for the most part.
And coming over here. Or just before, we did the show here. That's the thing I was thinking about, that this is going to be one of those. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same thing we saw with them in Ole Miss, but a lower score.
Lower score.
Because I feel like we can run on them.
Should.
Yeah, we should.
They play a 3-man front.
But that's a question that I have right now, and I shouldn't have that question halfway in the season. Game 7, I should not have that question of whether we can run the ball or not, and whether we're gonna be able to build off our running game.
Right.
And so, with Arkansas, like you said, they're a power running team, and if they get that going, I don't see no reason why KJ won't maybe light us up every now and then down the field, because we're susceptible at times, they'll have with one-on-one coverage.
They'll have one of the best players on the field, Burks, their receiver.
Yes.
He can go and get it. I don't know about the rest of the receivers. They got. I only know as far as tight ends go, but I know he's a one-on-one mismatch, just size-wise. So, but I would say, surely they run a 3-man front. And I don't know. I know they're multiple on defense, like to mix it up. But you got the numbers advantage up front. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's hard to say, because I think, really, to me, Auburn has played a little better on the road this year. to me than at home.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it is crazy to even think that.
Right.
That I mean, because I tell you, I said the offensive line to me played the best Penn State game.
Penn
You know,
State.
to be honest, and then they did not play bad LSU. You know what I'm saying? No, you know, even though Bo Nix was on the run all the time, but some of that he causes himself.
Oh yeah, even though the offensive line has not played great, they're not blowing people off the ball by any means. But they're not making a lot of mistakes penalty wise, putting us in long yardage situations. So,
right.
I mean, there's something to build on, but I mean, I would say this too. It's talking about the receivers and stuff. It's whenever you start having drops like they're having, it's a trend, and it takes a game or two to get out that trend. I mean, just good as it's bad. I mean, we can have a good game, so hopefully this will be the start of something new where they can actually go out and have a good game and catch the ball. But I'll say this. Let's get Landon King, that number 40, the freshman tight end, which is basically a big receiver. Let's get him on the field more because I think he can help us out a little bit.
Yeah, and that is another question too. Why are we not just even trying some of these guys, man?
I think there's a standard being set by Harsin. I don't always agree with it because I think you have to perform at a certain level in practice to get on the field. Okay. You got to do a certain thing. Yeah. But with that being said, if we base performance on what we did in practice, Bo Jackson will never be on the field.
Right.
So you can't. I don't. His philosophy is different. I mean, he's got his standard, and he's going to stick to that. But at some point, we're at the point of the season where we're another loss away from being irrelevant. I mean, then once that happens, because mathematically right now we're still in the SEC West race with Alabama getting beat. So we only got one conference loss. So I know what he's doing. Try to get as many wins as you can. But once we lose another game, I mean, what position are we going to be in then?
Exactly. And then even just going a step further, what games do you actually see us for sure winning? You know, for the rest of just based on what we've been doing.
I would say.
Only game I can say right now that I feel like that we're gonna win is the South Carolina game.
That's for sure.
Who knows? They may show up. This may be the game that they show up because they playing Auburn. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we don't have just a definite. You know, I thought when we both said that winning the LSU game is going to determine the rest of your season.
Right.
But when you go out and play the way you played against Georgia, it's not the fact that they lost, it's the way that they played against Georgia and how many opportunities were lost. I mean, that was opportunities, man, that, you know, this score should not have been, you know, we should score more than 10 points.
Well, let's call it like we said. I mean, Georgia has the best defense in the country.
Yes, they do.
But if you just take away half the drops that Nix had, you can blame whoever. You take away half the drops, he would have had over a 300-yard passing game against the best defense in the country.
Right.
So the ability is there. But I would say as far as wins go, I would say I'm about 99% sure we could beat South Carolina, barring injuries or whatever.
Yeah.
But then we get Ole Miss at home, Mississippi State at home. I mean, I hate to say it. I know Ole Miss is having a good year in their standard. Realistically, as an Auburn fan, we should win both of them games.
We should. We should.
Now, you know, I was feeling good about the going to Texas A&M earlier. Not now.
Not now.
So it's hard to say.
Yeah. And there used to be a point, man, where we could write the games down that we knew that we was gonna win, but that's not the case.
This has been one of the most unpredictable years too. I don't know if it wouldn't surprise me if Auburn gets beats by 10 this week or win by 10. I mean, it's hard to say.
Exactly.
So,
and that goes back to my point. Halfway in the season, we got all these questions. We don't know.
But think about it. I guess the bright spot for us is that we have a new coach, new coaching staff from top to bottom, except for Cornell, and it takes more than just 6 to 9 months to implement everything that you want to do.
Agree.
And he's playing with basically, other than the guys he signed late, he's basically playing with somebody else's players.
But here's the thing, though, Bruce, and I get every point that you're saying about that. But you have a 3-year quarterback.
Right.
So
I know
that's a question that it just looms in my head you got a 3-year quarterback, and you got basically a 4 or 5-year receivers, you know what I'm saying, dropping balls like that. I mean, that's stuff that you supposed to clean up, freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. You supposed to be okay. This ain't nothing new. Let's lace up and go out and get it. But I mean, I know the jargon. I mean, I know coaches got to get their players in.
Right.
You can't do that in a year. It takes time. But when you got solid guys there,
right,
and they're still not producing, you know what I'm saying? Where do you go from there?
I would say, I know it probably goes against his philosophy. I would just go ahead and bite the bullet and play the young guys. Because you got several freshmen like Dawson, you got J.J. Evans from Montevallo. You got several guys that we ain't even seen yet.
Yeah.
And we got several tight ends. We got a couple more tight ends like Brandon Frazier and Landon King, like I said. We ain't seen them. But my thing is, when it comes to catching the ball, this is something I don't know. I mean, I never played receiver. Even in high school, I was more defensive player, defensive end. But to me, either you can catch the ball or you can't.
That's true.
I mean, you got the hands or you don't. So my thing is, I don't want to talk about recruiting this week at all. I mean, it's kind of like, but to me, it should be when it comes to recruiting, this should be one of the easiest sales ever. When it comes to offensive line and receiver. If you can catch the ball, we need you. If you can block somebody, we need you. And there's immediate playing time to be had. So,
yeah.
Well, this is kind of like, for me, this is like a sad episode because the momentum we built, that the team built, and we took a step back. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, it's nothing like what a win would do, though.
Right.
I mean, because then the thing about it, I'm thinking we get the bye week next week, and it's coming at a good time.
It is.
So you're basically past the halfway point of the season. If you come off a win, you can build momentum for the second half, and you got 2 weeks basically to get prepared for Ole Miss, a game realistically you should win at home. At home. So with that being said, it's prediction time.
Okay.
You know the point spread. We don't gamble, but but hey, it's 3.5, 4 points. Roddy, how you feeling?
Man, bro, I'm an Auburn fan.
Right.
And I bleed orange and blue.
Absolutely.
And I call me an idiot again, but I say Auburn bounced back.
Okay.
With a score of 31-27.
Wow.
I mean, that's mind blowing, but let's go Tigers.
Man, I'm right there with you. From the point total being the spread, I would say I was thinking more along the line of 28-24 Auburn.
Okay.
So hopefully it's a good bounce back week for us. I would say if we hold, I think going into this game we need to hold Arkansas under 200 yards rushing though. Mm-hmm. I would say 200 yards rushing on either side will determine the game because I think both teams will have opportunities in the passing game just due to the fact that there's going to be so much emphasis on stopping the run that you have one-on-one coverage. And that's kind of sad to say. I mean, Arkansas has, just due to the fact that who they got is a no one receiver, at this point, you might well say Arkansas has better receivers than us.
Yeah. Because
at least they got a guy that they know that's reliable, that'll go get the ball.
Well, that's on the way over here, I was thinking about that as well. And be honest, when I ask you this question, and it's strictly your opinion right now, just from what you've seen this year.
Right.
Man, who can you honestly say is our go-to guy?
Be the tight end Shanker. And that's sad. I mean, it's sad that, but it's not sad. It's just the fact that basically this is what we got to work with.
Exactly.
I mean, I would say, well, I take that back. I would say over these last 2 weeks of the season, I would say Kobe Hudson. I would say he still drops one or two. He dropped one for sure that on that slant pass that hit him in the hands. But I would say at least he's showing signs of improvement. Mm-hmm. And he caught several on the sideline against Georgia, one-on-one coverage. Yeah. And one of them he caught on down the middle of the field. That it was thrown behind him. Exactly. He had to go back and get it. Right. So I would say not even Shanker. He's dropping some too. But I would say Kobe Hudson.
Well, and that's from a receiver standpoint.
Right.
I understand that. But here's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Do we have a go-to guy on offense that we can just say, hey, put the ball in this man's hands and let things happen? Now, if Tank was fully healthy,
I would say
Tank.
I would say the closest thing we got at this point would be Hunter. Because to me, he catches the ball at the backfield. Actually, I would say this. I like Shivers. He's a team player. It's no way he should have that many touches.
Exactly.
To me, that's just me.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And the thing about it, it's sort of getting predictable too. When he's in the game, they know what he's going to line up on the left side. He's rolling out the flat.
Exactly.
So I mean, you don't think defense rolls that coverage?
Yeah,
See, the thing about it, he had that good game against LSU, and what happens? That stuff is on tape now.
It's on tape.
I mean, it's easy to scout. And I would say Hunter because he's more versatile too. So, but my thing is to solve that too, which I think Bobo is actually pretty knowledgeable. I mean, he's not. I ain't gonna lie, he's not my favorite offensive coordinator I've seen, but I think he's pretty solid. But why not have two running backs in the backfield at the same time?
Right.
I mean, you have more than one option.
And I've said that I was watching one of those plays, and I was like, man, why don't they have both of them in?
Well, I know this that which God bless Bo Nix. At this point, he is what he is. You can't. I mean, it's an ongoing argument. You either for him or against him.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But he gives us the best chance to win based on what we got, offensive line wise. Right. Not that he's Joe Montana or Tom or whatever. I mean, or Lamar Jackson. He's none of them things. But if you go back and look, even on that first drive against Georgia, he threw to the tight end, but Hunter snuck out the backfield. He was wide open for the touchdown. But at some point, I know you're playing against Georgia, and it's easy for us as fans to sit there and say, why didn't he check down? You playing against that defense, you don't have time. I mean, you don't. If he had a better offensive line, it would be different. But knowing what he knows, I know he knows what he's got in front of him. He don't. I mean, his mind is not going to let him do that because he's going to get killed.
No,
they're not. That front seven from Georgia. I mean, they had a good game, but I mean, if it wasn't for Knicks on several of them plays, it could have been real ugly.
Oh yeah.
So
And it ended up showing up later on in the game.
They wore down.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense wore down, and the offensive line wore down. You're beating on. Well, it's like this though. Not to harp on recruiting, but this is a stat that's kind of mind blowing to me, mind boggling, and it's like Georgia on their team right now. They got 19 5-stars. That's more than Alabama, and everybody know how good Alabama is.
Yeah.
Auburn's got one, and what's ironic about it? The 1 5-star they got is Bo Nix. So that tells you. So that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, he playing like a 3-star.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
5-star heart.
Yeah, he got a 6-star heart if you ask me.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to Jarquez Hunter.
Right.
If he's our go-to guy, let him eat. Man,
I would say this.
Let him eat.
I mean, I think he's about as solid as they come.
Yeah.
I mean, he's everything you want in a running back. No minimum of 20 touches a game.
That's what I'm saying. Let him eat. Man.
Tank, basically, to me, from what I understand, he has a hip flexor.
Tank needs this bye week. Tank needs to get
come
to
out
this bye
time.
week, man. Yeah. And he got the touchdown.
Right. All heart.
Yeah.
Because the offensive line is
exactly. Yeah, because he had to peel off of them.
Peel off them. So.
And granted he got the touchdown. That was all well and good, but there was nothing else after that. And Tank needs to get to this bye week and get these 2 weeks in him and get some rest. They don't even need to do anything with him. He needs to get treatment,
right.
But I feel like, man, they need to let this boy Hunter eat. And it don't matter. Get him the ball in space or pound or whatever, man. I feel like Bo Nix is gonna be our best bet to win with what we got. But
right.
I mean, they're gonna have to. We need a heavy dose. Y'all always hear me say this. We need a heavy dose of at least one of the running backs, and then the healthy running back that we got right now is Jarquez Hunter, and he's the best option right now.
This just came to me, and I truly believe this. It's just like the cycle of life.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, I'm guilty of it. I'm sure you have been at some point. We all, as Auburn fans, we've all called for Bo Nix head, basically.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll say this too, though. You never miss something till it's gone.
That's right.
I truly believe that. I mean, I could be wrong, but you never miss a good thing till it's gone.
That's true.
And his time, either way it goes, this year, next year, his time's coming to an end anyway.
Exactly.
And based on what I've seen, the heir apparent ain't there yet. I don't know that, but you never miss a good thing till it's gone. For Auburn fans, just keep that in the back of your mind. And I think people that have written him off, I would love to have seen him behind what Alabama's got. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I would love to see him because he was always going to Auburn. From the day he was born, he was going to Auburn.
Yeah.
But it's also some of his fault, but it's also there's been a disjustice done to him based on what he's been allowed to work, because the receivers he's got and the offensive line he got, it's not even realistic for him to succeed.
Yeah.
So basically, and it is what it is. So
and you can say that about several guys.
Oh yeah.
That has I always tell people that the greatest running back in the NFL to me has always been Barry Sanders, because he never had a line to block.
Oh yeah.
You know, so
everything he got.
He earned, he earned,
you know he had.
You know what I'm saying? And all y'all statisticians or researchers or whatever, y'all can, go back and tell me whatever. That's just what I saw. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, man, this man ain't had no line worth nothing for real, but hey, he's making things happen. And I'm an Auburn fan, so I'm going to ride it out. We done seen worse.
Oh, yeah.
We done seen a lot where, there's times we have,
well, I remember
you and I have said to each other, I'll be glad when so-and-so is gone.
Well, I'll say
we don't have to deal with so-and-so this year. That's why we happy.
We went through Gabe Gross, Clint Mosley, Barrett Trotter.
Barrett Trotter, boy.
I like Barrett. Bro. With that being said, it's been real.
I got one more thing.
Okay.
If we was wrapping up, I didn't know if we was wrapping up or not.
Yeah.
But man, look, and I've said it before.
Right.
And look, man, it's just a game.
Right.
I want everybody to understand that seriously how real that is, man, because we watch this thing, we get emotional. Don't get me wrong, but when it's over, it's over. And with that being said, man, to the family that the young man lost his life after the Alabama and Texas A&M game due to an argument, a gunshot. This guy was shot 7 times in the chest. Man, that's pointless, man. Life is worth more than a football game. I just caution everybody, please keep your emotions under wrap when it comes to that. Life is worth a whole lot more, So with that being said, man, just treat this as entertainment, man, and just go on about it, because that's what we do. And watch it, man. Look, if you have to just watch the game with just your fans, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just do that, man, just to be safe. Because you never know what's going on in somebody's mind. It might have not even been about the game, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we know happened, or that's what they telling us, that it was after the game and it was an argument about the game.
Right.
But whoever shot the person, man, it could have been dealing with something way bigger than that. But that just stimulated the situation. But I just want to tell everybody, man, look, just keep it in the road, man, and just enjoy it. Enjoy life, first of all, and enjoy, the entertainment that we have to see college football players and college football games, you know what I'm saying? Especially as good of a game as Alabama and Texas A&M was, you know what I'm saying? So just enjoy the moment, man, and it don't have to end up, somebody losing their life. So that's all I got with that.
My last thing would be, for all my Auburn fans out here, we're only like 20-something days away from basketball season as we get ready to make this Final Four run. So, hey,
I'm with y'all.
Hey, well, hopefully, we got this bye week coming up. So we got 2 weeks to recharge, and hopefully we'll come off a win. So hopefully, man, we'll see y'all guys back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, man.
Until then, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
That's it.